Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dylan, and today I'm going to teach you how to make the Playful Cloud 3-section staff from Jujutsu Kaisen. First thing that you need is you're going to get yourself a couple dowel rods. I got this 1¼ inch dowel rod, it came in 4 feet, and then I chopped it down into 2-foot sections, so I ended up getting 2 of them, but it only cost me like $12, so it should be pretty cheap and fun build to make. Let's do it. We're going to start with 2 dowel rods. These are 4-foot dowel rods that are 1¼ inch wide. Go ahead and cut these in half. We're going to end up with 3 2-foot long sections. The process for building this is going to be pretty easy. Basically, this just consists of a couple of end caps with some decorations, as well as the detailing that goes up about a couple inches up the staff on each side. Simply repeat 6 times, 2 ends, 3 pieces, and we're pretty much done after painting. To get started, I'm taking a little bit of scrap 2mm foam, wrapping it around so I can get the exact width of how big this is going to be. Just mark that, and you can end up cutting that width for all of our end caps here, because this is going to be the same for each one. Once you take your measurement, you can transfer it onto a larger piece of foam. I thought that 2 inches was going to be enough for each end cap. So you take that, and this will be the start of each of our end caps here. They should meet up just the same as your scrap piece of foam did. You're eventually going to glue this on, and then we'll add our details later, but this is a good start. You can cut 6 of these out and make sure that they all fit the exact same for each pole. I ended up cutting out little circles that fit right on the end of the pole as well. That way when you wrap the foam around it, it kind of looks like a cohesive end cap. That's the idea anyway. These used to be made, like actual ones were made with a metal end cap that was then like nailed or screwed in on the sides that kept it secure. Obviously we're not doing that this time. I wouldn't recommend once we're finished that you swing these around. It's probably not meant for that, but that is the idea. That's kind of the look that we're going for with these little end circle caps as well. Cut out about, what do I need, 6 of them again? And we're going to glue all of those on at the same time as our 2mm foam wrap, the 2-inch piece that goes on the ends. After we glue the end caps on, this is a piece of 1/4 inch round half dowel. You can get this online. Some craft stores might have this, but I'm going to use this as our decorative pieces. There's 3 rings that go on each end cap. You're going to need a lot of this basically to, if you're doing it like me, to fit around all of the end caps here. If you aren't going to use this, you could probably use some other decorative ring. You could use flat foam too. It's just not going to have the curvature, but if this is what you have, this will work just fine. So either way, this is what I'm going to use. I believe the website is Lumen's Workshop is where I got this. So feel free to check that out. They have some cool stuff. This is an interesting foam piece, kind of hard to find at like a regular craft store, but this is what I'm going to use on all the end caps to decorate for the rings. Okay, if you're following along, right now your pole should look a little bit like this. We've got the 2-inch blue, 2mm foam, kind of wrapped around all the way to the ends, and then I did 3 stripes of the 1/4 inch half dowel for being super technical. But that's how we get this ringed look, right? So that's what we're trying to get, and we're going to do that for all 6 of our dowels here. If you've been in cosplay a long time, you know that sometimes you have to fake things, one of those things being rivets. If you look at reference photos, this thing has rivets all the way around in this open blue area. I'm not going to use actual rivets, but what we're going to use instead, googly eyes. Googly eyes make an awesome rivet. You just glue them on, paint over them, and you'll never know the difference. They'll look fantastic. So if you're able to get yourself some googly eyes off of Amazon or the craft store, do that and just glue these right on. Once you paint them, you will have no idea. They're going to look awesome. I just realized after looking at a couple of reference photos, none of the references are the same. Some have the rivets in the middle instead of a middle ring. Some have the rings in a different spot. Some are missing the rivets. None of it's the same. So we're just going to kind of do the best that we can and make up our own. If you guys like what I do, copy me. If you don't like it, do whatever you want. No one's going to tell the difference, but we're going off of manga panels and anime panels and nothing matches up, so whatever. Here's our googly-eyed masterpiece. Okay guys, a little check-in. For you, it's been no time at all. For me, it's been a couple weeks. I had to order more of the 5mm half dowel from this company called Lumen's Workshop. They're out of Australia, but I needed more to finish off all of the ends of the Playful Cloud staff. So basically, we got all of them done and plasti dipped. This is what they look like. So currently, all of the ends are done. 3 layers of half dowel, the googly eyes that we talked about before, and they're on both sides. So I have 3 of them that look just like this, and now they're little maracas. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna go ahead and just paint these. I did a little test sample for you guys. I have some red paint that I used, and I think they turned out pretty cool. I made a little, you guys know the broken piece that Toji ends up using later on. I made a 4th stick, essentially, and I turned it into the broken piece. So this is like my test one to figure out what these are gonna look like. Go ahead and paint all of your pieces red, and then I have some connectors that I'm gonna show you that we can actually put everything together with. I went ahead and bought these on Amazon. They're little, what do they call them? Flat eye hook. I'll put a link down below. I can't remember the name of these, but this is what we're going to use on the ends here. They fit pretty perfectly right in the end, and we're going to use that to attach all of our pieces together. And we're attaching our pieces together with some chain. I got this elongated chain from Home Depot. This actually kind of matches a little bit better than normal chain for like what the anime and the manga make this staff look like. So we're gonna use this and put it all together. This is what one coat of paint is gonna look like on your sticks here. And then this is my test piece, which has 2 coats, a little bit thicker, and this is fully dry. So this one is about what it'll look like when you're done. Sorry, the light's pretty harsh right now, but we're, filming around sundown. So again, first coat, they'll look much more red and much more robust afterwards. Side note, the plasti dip will make the ends of the wood here like stained black, which is cool, but not what I was expecting. I thought the paint would cover this up pretty well. If you don't want this, I would recommend masking off the wood as you plasti dip the foam on top, and then you can paint the whole thing the solid red color. I actually kind of like this. I was going to weather this anyway around the ends, and it creates a cool, like I said, ombre effect, so I'm gonna keep this as is. I think it'll look really neat when we paint the detail pieces on that are near the ends here, which we're actually gonna do next. So let's jump into what those look like. After looking at some reference photos and some other cosplays, this is the design that I came up with that will go around the ends of each side of the staff. This design is 4 inches tall from the bottom to the top. If you're making it just like me, you can basically copy this exactly. So this will fit around here, and you'll line up the edges, and then you can mask off and paint however you like. I think I'm gonna do a purple paint. That's kind of what I see from the anime, but we will see as we get there and what my options are when we get to the store. I also bought a little bit of masking tape. This is super thin masking tape you can get from like Hobby Lobby, and that's what I'm going to use to actually cut this out, mask this off on the wood, and then when I spray paint, we'll be able to just have a nice clean sprayed edge here. You can hand paint this if you want. I prefer spray paint, so that's what the masking tape is going to do for us. Okay guys, let's do a little bit of an update here. We are pretty much finished painting our pieces, all of our prop pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of dry brushing on this black because I don't want it to be stark black. I've mixed up some just acrylic paints, and I'm gonna dry brush like a gray or a gunmetal color around this to make it more dynamic and kind of pop out. Once we're done with that on all of these pieces, then we can work on assembling everything together. But just a little bit of acrylic paint, and then we can add the connectors on the ends, and we're ready to pretty much wrap this thing up. After we do this, I'm going to clear coat this, but I don't need to show you guys how to spray paint clear coat. It's just like a lacquer. It'll go over the top. It'll look exactly the same when we're done, but that way it'll have like a protective coating and your hands won't rub off any of this paint here. So Let's do it. So as you put a little bit of paint on here, you can take your paper towel and rub some of it off, kind of get a little bit of that excess paint off. And it also creates a bit of texture, so this thing looks a little bit more weathered. So if you guys can see here, this is kind of the look we're going for. I may mess with this a little bit more, but it looks a little bit more weathered, not such a stark black, and it kind of blends in a bit more to the gradient that we've got going on here. We're gonna do this to all of our pieces and try to make this look nice and worn in. We're also gonna do a little bit of dry brushing on these guys. I haven't put them on yet. You can put them on first if you want. I actually don't have the screws for these yet, so I'm just gonna paint them now, and when I put them on, they should match because we're using the same paint color, and they'll fit really nicely on the end. But if you don't, it's gonna look kind of funny because you have this nice weathered gray and black, and then you have a stark black hook. That doesn't match. So we're going to make this look like this, and once we put it together, it should blend pretty seamlessly. Same thing, dry brushing. Just kind of coat that whole thing. We're using the black as the shadow, so the black will actually be darker in the little crevices, which means don't put as much paint in the crevices because that's where the dirt would be. But the surface of it you can paint pretty gray. Make sure you really dab a lot of the paint off. It can get tedious or it can get troublesome when you go to dry brush and you accidentally put too much paint on your brush. It's really hard to go back and take that off afterwards. I think that looks pretty good. So this, you're obviously just like staring at my face or chest the whole time, but this is what we're looking at here. Sorry for that here. Maybe a little bit on the edges too, because you'll probably see those edges. You got on your fingers, but whatever. And some of this paint's probably gonna wear off with the chain. It's no big deal. That's what we ended up looking like. So let me show you a comparison. It's not gonna be that crazy. Hopefully the camera's picking this up well. This is a clean one. This is the painted one. So we're looking at gloss black versus more of a gunmetal color. Do these to all of yours. I have 5. I think I'm gonna put one on the broken spear too, just to have a little bit of extra something on the back of it. But you only need 5 total. All right, everybody, our paint is dry. The clear coat is dry, and the last thing that we have to do is to put these pieces together. And the way that we're going to do that is through this chain. I got this chain, hopefully you'll still be able to hear me just fine with this microphone. I got this chain at Home Depot. It's an elongated, already black chain. I didn't have to do anything to it. The elongated loops look more like the manga and the anime, so I went with that rather than just like standard chain. We're going to take about 4 links between each one. So you only need 8 total. I got a foot of chain. It literally cost me like 75 cents. So here's how we're going to do it. 2 sets of pliers and a cloth. You're going to basically bend the chain open, get your 4 links, hook it onto one end, bend it closed. We're using the cloth to protect the chain, that way you don't scratch it up really bad. And then once you do that, we're going to be done. So I'm going to put this together real quick, show you how I do it, and we'll see the final product. That's all there is to it. So you're going to take the longer piece off. So we have 4 total links. Start with one end here, loop it through. Yep, it's just like this, and we're going to pinch this closed. And just like that, we're attached. Do this to the middle piece, and then the other one on the other end, and we're done. That is it, everybody. We are finished up with Playful Cloud. I think it turned out awesome. what a big prop. This was really fun to make. If you guys try to make this yourself, make sure you show me online. I would love to see it. Send me it on Instagram and we can chat about it. If you have any questions, comment down below. Consider liking and subscribing this video. I'd really appreciate it. And enjoy some B-roll shots of Playful Cloud. Hello. You want to be in the video?